Hello to everyone at the Boomer Esiason Foundation and to Boomer Esiason. Okay, so this is actually the final reading from Lovers in a Dangerous Time according to the presentation that I have accompanied. There are many more scenes in the pro football subplot, but I had to select enough readings to make up for 2 hours of a presentation that I never got to give. Anyway, so in this scene, we're already well into the football season, and at this point, Nightbiter of the Superhuman Marshall Brothers and Shaylene have already hooked up for a star-crossed romance, and this is actually one of the Jameston families, I should say, one of their ways to get Shaylene away from Nightbiter is to have Neil take her on a weekend date, which includes watching him in a home-based football game. And Shaylene is actually watching from a very special place. So hope you enjoy reading. Okay. Neil and Shaylene arrive together at the Tamapawa Island Field on game day. When they arrive, he gives her to Fred Jameston, who takes her to his executive suite in the stadium. She walks to the wall-side window, fascinated by the view. She is facing east and can see the whole side of the city from here, past all the stands and lights. Down below, she can see almost the whole field, including the part of the farther goal line. Spectacular, she says. I'm almost breathless. I'll bet this would cost about $7,000 to rent. No, this suite is strictly closed to the public, Fred Jameston says. This is exclusively for staff unless I have special guests. And in your case, guests under special circumstances. So, this is where you talk business during game time, Shaylene assumes. Just as Jameston is about to answer, in walk 2 middle-aged men, both looking like brothers, with the same shade of blonde hair. Shaylene guesses early to mid-50s. The older-looking man is wearing a green polo shirt with a team logo and khaki slacks, while the younger-looking one is wearing a blue shirt with a white tie and gray slacks. Jameston is jovial as he welcomes them. "Gentlemen, you've arrived right on schedule," he says. He gestures towards Shaylene. "I'm sure you know about Mayor Lawrence Goldsmith? This is his daughter, Shaylene. My nephew's been keeping her for the entire weekend. And this is part of my team who keeps my operations running," he says to Shaylene. He pats the head of the man in green. "This is Peter Mickelson, my general manager." Then the man in blue. "And this is Doug Kilbride, director of player personnel." "Charmed," Shaylene says. Kilbride smiles and offers to sit Shaylene down in one of 3 leather chairs. He puts her in the middle chair, then looks back at the bar behind him. "Can I fix you a drink?" he offers. "Not right now," Shaylene says. Maybe when the game starts." She sits for 20 minutes as Jameston talks business plans and strategies for the week ahead with his front office staff. She closes her eyes and imagines herself alone with Nightbiter on the 50-yard line, standing on the Tsunami logo, holding each other in their arms, a gentle breeze blowing in her hair. The chairs are certainly making her comfortable. Suddenly, she is drawn out of her fantasy by Kilbride's voice repeating her name. "Shaylene!" he almost shouts, and she looks over at him. "It's an honor to have the mayor's daughter here with us as the Tsunami plays the bullseyes," he says. He turns to his boss. "Mr. Jameston, you should have invited her father here to be sitting with us. Perhaps instead of the usual football talk, we spend the whole game discussing political affairs in Crystal Isle. And what to do about this crazy crime wave with all the infectious gangs," Mickelson adds. Shaylene smiles at Mickelson. "So he thinks the Superhuman Marshall Brothers are innocent after all," she thinks. But doesn't really ask him that. She walks to the window to see the players on the field. She sees Neil practicing passing with his teammates, just like he did the day before. After about 20 minutes, he practices throwing, trying to throw as far as possible. She tries to focus on his throws, and the camera's filming the game on the television, showing him in action. She wishes she could open the window and blow him a kiss, not out of love, but good luck. She looks back at Jameston, wondering if he'll expect her to watch Neil the entire game, only making her sit down when he's off the field. But Jameston is in the corner of the suite talking business with Nicholson and Kilbride. She knows better than to interrupt him with such a frivolous question. She knows she can't stand in high heels for long periods of time. Her legs are as skinny as a model's. Games like this usually take 3 hours, and it would be torturous for her. She sits back down in her chair and says to herself, "I'll get up if Mr. Jameston brings me to the window." She thinks that if she can fall asleep, she can dream about Night Visor, but a part of her tells her that she can't. She turns to Kilbride and asks for an iced tea. She adds, "Maybe I'll have a diet soda at the start of the game." He brings it to her, and while she sips, Jameston comes and obstructs her view. She doesn't mind this, but she tries not to think of being bored. Jameston keeps talking to his head office staff, but she doesn't listen. She sighs silently and speaks to herself again. "I sure wish Daddy would let me talk to Mom that night. I would have asked her to pack some magazines for me." She looks around the room to see a large screen television on the southern wall. She guesses it's meant to show the game for those who want to stay sitting. She wonders if it wants to stay sitting. She wonders if maybe it can show a romantic comedy movie until game time. She looks back at Jameston's men giving opinions and ideas. The meeting is still going on. She'd get into trouble if she were to do that. Jameston turns around and notices Shaylene wondering what to do. "Why, Shaylene," he says, "if you want, I can get our weekend receptionist to fetch you some magazines for the time being. The game won't start for an hour." "That'd be great," she says. "No sports or anything too manly, though." Jameston calls for Shaylene's request, and 10 minutes later, she receives 3 past issues of the same women's magazine and a copy of a literary magazine. She reads the literary magazine first, finding all the short stories interesting, but skipping the writer interviews. She is halfway through the first women's magazine when Jameston announces that the game is starting. He takes her hand and walks her to the window just as the kickoff is handling. He has her focusing on Neil as another play starts up, and he successfully snaps the ball and passes it to another player before being tackled. This player, as she tries to identify him, runs in the opposite direction down the field, but is tackled before he reaches the goal line. Shaylene does a palm face move. She doesn't know why, but she thinks it's because Jameston is still near her, and he's just as disappointed. She looks at the player again, someone on the defensive line named Thackeray. She tries to think if he was at the charity event last night. Why is it that I can't tell who any other player is other than Neil with their helmets? She wonders. Seriously, if it weren't for the names on the backs of their jerseys, I wouldn't be able to tell who was who. You really should follow the game in the team war, Shaylene, Jameston advises. When the first quarter is halfway through, Kilbride begins to wonder how long Shaylene's been standing there. He thinks maybe it's time to sit her down, thinking she may be tired. "I think it may be time for that diet soda now," he says. He goes to a small fridge, the same one where he fetched the iced tea, and gives her a Diet Pepsi. Shaylene thanks him and sits down promptly. She can only see part of the field out of the window now, mostly the spectators in the stands. She looks at the television now. She wonders if she can have her chair moved in that direction and someone turn it on for her. Maybe she can watch the game with some comfort. She decides the only thing she can enjoy about this game is watching Neil throw the ball. She knows she'd be bored watching the team interact during commercial breaks. If only they would let her hear the sound bites during the game. Hearing Neil communicate and give instructions would also be interesting. She looks over at Jameston, then Nicholson and Kilbride. She is wondering what to tell them without offending them or sounding unappreciative. Very early in the second quarter, Jameston stands her up and brings her to the window again. She looks down at the field just in time to see Neil throw the ball, though she doesn't really see who catches it. But this player is immediately tackled within 5 seconds. She still focuses on Neil, but not the scoreboard. "Do you know what the score is?" she asks Jameston. "I'm afraid that if I take my eyes off Neil for even a nanosecond, you'll be after me to stay focused on the boyfriend." Jameston laughs. Well, while you were sitting there hoping to watch the game on screen, he says, as if he can tell what her intentions were, the Tsunami scored 1 touchdown and a field goal. We're ahead 10-6. She stays standing until Neil goes off the field and be replaced by Manu Kimari at the quarterback position. Then she sits back down and drinks the last of her soda. But as she's getting comfortable, Jameston has a reminder for her. Stand at the window with me when the cameras get a shot at this suite. That's it. Starting again. Stand at this window with me when the cameras get a shot at this suite. I think everyone at home will be interested in seeing the mayor's daughter watching the game from the stadium's most luxurious area. Really, Shaylene, I'd feel privileged if I were you. Shaylene looks down at her feet, wondering how much more standing she can do in her heels, wondering how long her legs can hold her up. Then maybe I should have packed an emergency pair of flats, she comments. Perhaps if I did, I'd be dancing all around in here. And that is the last of the readings from the Glory of Love saga. Both the Glory of Love and Lovers in a Dangerous Time are complete, and I am currently working on a third novel entitled Every Breath You Take, which has a cystic fibrosis and fundraising subplot. And to Boomer Esiason, I hope that you like the readings, that you are interested in working with me and taking the Glory of Love saga and what other sports-related project. I do have a hockey-themed novel in mind, and other projects that you may be interested in, so I can help you with the fundraising for cystic fibrosis research and awareness. I would love to use my career to write fundraising projects for yours and other charities who may be interested, along with being an advocate for educational literacy. Thank you for watching my videos, and I hope that one day I will be able to meet with you face to face and probably start up not only a work relationship but a very casual friendship with you. I would be very honored. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.